I did a lot of movie reviews, especially reviews of science fictions in the past, and especially I did actually several videos and several reviews even about Dark City, the 1997 movie. There's also an actual film noir, but I'm not referring to that one. I'm referring to the science fiction neo noir. I love that movie, and so I did a bunch of videos about that and about other science fiction with similar concepts. Um, yeah, because all of them are very similar to the Matrix, actually. But I never talked about the Matrix because I didn't like the Matrix. I'll be honest, because I already knew the previous movies like Dark City, like 13th Floor, like World on a Wire. And so on. There's a whole bunch of movies, even Star Trek, even the first Star Trek pilot, The Cage. Watch it. You realize it's basically the exact same story as The Matrix, right? So The Matrix is nothing new, right? So when The Matrix came out, I was like, well, I've seen this story before, like a million times, right? Because it's a staple in science fiction. So I was not impressed by The Matrix at all. Except, okay, I have to admit, I was impressed by the CGI, which by now look pretty dated and pretty bad. But back then, that looked impressive. You know, but other than the CGI effects, I was not impressed by the story or the concept at all because it's not a new story or concept at all, and I've seen it in science fictions a million times, and I've seen the philosophy that all this is based on, and it's not a new philosophy at all. That kind of ideology has existed a long time. It's a very popular Gnostic concept that has been around for many hundreds of years, probably even longer. So it's nothing new, and I was very much unimpressed by the Matrix. Uh, but now I still feel that I have to do a video about it because all the time I avoided doing that. So I feel I have to, and the reason is that I actually know a lot of people who don't just like the Matrix, but who actually believe it to be real. I mean, not even in a symbolical manner, like people talk about, the pills, right? Oh, taking the blue pill, taking the other pill, right? Meaning in a symbolical manner, like saying, "Oh, my eyes have been opened" or something, right? I don't mean that. I mean people literally believing the Matrix movie to be literally true, because there are actually a lot of people like that, and I had to deal with a lot of people like that, and that's actually really annoying. Having to deal with such people is such a pain. And that's actually why I'm doing this video, because I feel I have to, because it's so difficult to deal with these people. It's these people are the most impossible people to deal with that you could ever imagine. But okay, before I get more into what these people believe, well, maybe I should actually explain um, the ideology behind it. And there are two kinds of people like that. There are simply people who have watched The Matrix and go like, "Oh yeah, this is literally what reality looks like," right? And then there are the kinds of people who already had that ideology before they watched The Matrix, uh, and then and then the Matrix just becomes a movie that they really like because it reflects the ideology that they already believed in. But in any case, both of these kinds of people, well, literally believe that the world is not real. Um, yeah, and that's why it's so difficult to have conversations with such people, because if if someone believes that, if he literally believes the world, the physical reality is literally an illusion, um, it doesn't matter what arguments you bring forth, what evidence, or even what you show these kinds of people with, with their own eyes. Even if they see something with their own eyes, they can still deny it. They're kind of like the flat earthers. Actually, they are the flat earthers. That's People are wondering, why are there so many flat idiots around nowadays. I'm sorry. I don't want to uh call people names, but these people really aren't very bright, right? And people are wondering, well, why do these people exist now? I mean, people have known for millennia. Ancient Greeks knew that the Earth was round. It wasn't even in antiquity that everyone knew the Earth was round, right? There were some exceptions. Maybe some people in very remote places, like in the Middle Ages, in the Dark Ages, in some remote areas, like in the Arabian desert, there were some, camel traders who might not have known that the Earth was round. But other than such extremely rare exceptions of very remote, uneducated people in the Dark Ages, everyone knew, even in antiquity, everyone knew that the Earth was round, right? But now these people pop up and they all go, "Oh, the Earth is flat." They're idiots. I'm sorry, but they are. But why do they pop up now? Why, even in the Dark Ages, there was no such discussion. Everyone knew the Earth was round, except for some idiots that no one paid attention to, right? Um, so everyone knew that. Always there was never even a need for discussion. So why do these people pop up now? And why is it so impossible? Even with our modern technology, where we can literally show people and show them with their own eyes that the Earth is round, yet they still deny it. Why are they like that? It's because they're the same type of people, like the people who literally believe the Matrix is real, right? They deny physical reality, so it does not matter what you show to them. They can still deny it. Even if they see something with their own eyes, even if you were to show them with their own eyes that the Earth is round, they still conclude the Earth is flat, because reality means nothing to them. They deny it. They deny physical reality. And now you can maybe understand my frustration, because these are the same kinds of people, right? They deny physical reality. It's impossible to reason with such people, because everything you demonstrate to them, even everything they can see with their own eyes, they can still deny. And at the end of the day, they actually deny everything. They deny physical reality itself, right? Or maybe deny isn't even the right word. Negate. That's actually what they're supposed to do in their ideology, because it is an ideology. It is a science fiction concept, but more than a science fiction concept, it is an ideology that has been around for a long time, and it also actually goes back to some of the famous philosophers, including even Marx, and Hegel and people like that. And that's why Marxists, they talk a lot about negating, well, of course, Marxists are more about negating society, but of course, society is part of physical reality, right? So, but you can see that even Marxists go beyond that. So Marxists are about negating things as well, right? That's their goal. They want to negate physical reality because they reject it. I'm not necessarily talking about Marxists now, but I'm talking about the ideology behind it. which again, goes back to Hegel and goes back, well, what Marx called dialectical materialism, and Hegel just, called dialectics. It has a Hegelian dialectics is all about negating physical reality, right? So why do they do that? Because they also believe that, well, basically they deny reality, right? So it's a very similar ideology. And science fiction movies like The Matrix just popularized that kind of ideology that has existed for a long time. And it just boils down to negating reality itself. George Orwell also explained that very well in 1984. So, like I said, it's not something new in science fiction at all. It was always a topic in science fiction. Um, so, yeah, it was very well explained in 1984, and it's a major theme in 1984 as well. Except, of course, that, as opposed to movies like The Matrix, or science fiction stories like The Matrix, George Orwell, of course, doesn't glorify that ideology, but of course, he actually criticizes it. And he points out that this ideology is, well, it's stupid. I mean, because you're negating everything. Right? So in 1984, George Orwell uses the example, it's like, because you're negating reality. So whatever you want becomes your reality, right? They see subjective reality as objective reality because they negate objective reality. So if you sit in if you just sit on your chair, two people are sitting on a chair, each on a separate chair, of course. But, and it's just sitting in a room on a chair, and, that would be the objective reality. But with that kind of ideology, it doesn't matter. With that kind of ideology, if you believe, and that's the example George Orwell used in 1984, if you believe that you can fly, and if you can convince the other person, the spectator, that you fly, you just tell them, yeah, that's the reality. Now I know, with what you see with your eyes is just me sitting in the chair, but objective reality doesn't exist. So in reality, I can float in the air. I have superpowers. Yes, I have superpowers. Right? So in their ideology, if if you honestly think that you have the superpower to fly, and the other person, um, you know, is also convinced that you have that superpower, then you have that superpower. Then that becomes objective reality, even though objective reality is still just you sitting in your chair and not doing anything, right? But since they negate objective reality, they think they have superpowers. And you can see that very well in the Matrix, where they have all kinds of superpowers, you know, and all they need to do to get these superpowers is just believe that they have them, right? It's so stupid because it teaches you to negate objective reality. And I think that's dangerous, and you can also see, and that's why I don't like the Matrix, why I like the other movies and stories that the Matrix actually ripped off. Why I like those previous movies better, like Dark City, which even uses the same set pieces, by the way. So the Matrix didn't even make their own set pieces; they just stole the same set pieces even from Dark City. And of course, like I mentioned, 13th Floor and World on a Wire, which is basically the exact same story, but that movie was already made in 1973, right? Uh, so yeah, but that's why I like these previous versions of basically the same story better. Well, because first off, the Matrix ripped them off, and secondly, the Matrix is well, the Matrix really glorifies that concept and tries to propagate that sort of ideology, which is why some people end up actually believing that, which is the point. You know, the Matrix really glorifies that ideology, which I feel is dangerous because, and you can see that even in the Matrix movie itself. Um, these the characters in the Matrix, they end up, I mean, the Matrix is basically an action movie, a lot of action, but a lot of violence also, a lot of shooting, um I mean, the main characters in the movie are not necessarily good people, even though they're made out to be heroes. I mean, objectively, but they deny objective reality, right? but but if you don't deny objective reality, then objectively, I mean, these are not good people, right? I mean, they kill a lot of other people. They commit a lot of crimes, and they have all kinds of uh, guns and weapons, and even harm a lot of innocent civilians and bystanders, and shoot them, and of course the justification for that is that they say, well, it's not real anyway, it's all an illusion, right? But that's very dangerous, because if you teach people that, uh, it becomes very easy for people uh, to justify their own acts of violence if they genuinely believe that. And there have actually been some cases like that. There have actually been some people who committed crimes and were actually, and honestly, told the newspapers. You can Google that. That they were inspired by the Matrix movie. So it's not, morally speaking, it's not a good movie, and it's not a beneficial ideology for people to have. Um, yeah.